Greetings internet peoploads, Darkly Dave here. And with Halloween fast approaching, I thought it appropriate to do the Spooky Halloween tag by Simply Kenna. Of course, to speak properly without a bloody lisp, I'm going to have to take these out. There. That's better. Anyway, on with the questions. Favourite horror or Halloween themed song? Don't know whether it counts, but Welcome to My Nightmare by Alice Cooper, I would say. In fact, the whole album, Welcome to My Nightmare. Question 2. Name something you wouldn't want to run into in dark forest or in an abandoned building. Slenderman, definitely. Definitely Slenderman. Because it doesn't matter how fast you run, once you've encountered him, you're fucked. Question 3. Have you ever played with an Ouija board? No, I haven't. No, I won't. And that's principally because my family has a tendency to be what my mother calls sensitive. Vast swathes of the family see ghosts on occasion, and it's best just not to mess with, especially given a Ouija board, unlike a summoning, is an open door, not an invitation. So it could be dear Auntie Isbeth from 200 years ago, or it might not. Mum and Dad actually know someone that ended up having to call someone in to cleanse the house because they called something through that wasn't very nice. Anyway, question 4. Favourite horror monster or villain? Favourite monster would be werewolves for sure, but also Frankenstein's creature. But as far as specific villains, it would be a split between Hannibal Lecter and Dracula. Question 5. The creepiest thing that's ever happened to you while you're alone? I don't know. I haven't really had much. Not while I was alone, anyway. But premonitions and stuff kind of suck. And picking up emanations from people, that's not so good. But I haven't really had anything really creepy happen to me whilst I was alone. Question 6. If you were dared to spend the night in a haunted house, would you do it? Depending on what sort of haunted house it was, what sort of mood I was in, and how much time I had to prepare myself, possibly. Depending on what the history of the place was, if it's really dark or bloody, we'll see what sort of mood I'm in. Question 7. Are you superstitious? Sometimes. I throw spilled salt over my shoulder. I don't have a problem with black cats. I won't walk under ladders, but that's mostly out of just a mind for safety. And I'm not particularly superstitious, however I'm slightly more open-minded about it sometimes. Question 8. Do you ever see figures in your peripheral vision? Occasionally, though rational side of my mind tells me that it's misreading visual information. Doesn't stop it being a little bit creepy. Question 9. Which urban legend scares you the most? I don't know, generally the ones where there's the Oh, I know. The one where the dog was barking and then the dog, or rather, there's a noise and the woman gets up and goes to get out of bed and feels a licking at her ankle, her dog telling her that it's okay. This continues a couple of times until finally she hears the dog barking. She gets up and goes out downstairs and sees that the dog is outside. Dun dun dun. So yeah, that sort of one is a bit bleh. Some of the creepypastas as well. Question 10. Do you prefer gore or thrillers? Depending on what mood I'm in, gore tends to make me laugh more than anything because the way people die in most of those movies, it's absurd. And it tends to get processed as absurdist comedy. If I'm in the mood, I will prefer a thriller over a gore fest, but if I just want to be entertained, then chances are a gore fest will do. Question 11. Do you believe in multi-dimensions or worlds? Well, I believe in, well, not so much believe. I feel that the many worlds theory posited in quantum physics makes a lot of sense to me, so there's that. But as for supernatural worlds, not so much. Again, I'm open to the idea, but I wouldn't say I'm beholden to it. Question 12. Ever made a potion of any sort? I used to make potions a lot when I was a kid. Which, yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to say on that one, but yes, I have. Question 13. Do you get scared easily? Not really. Do I react strongly? Yes. Not necessarily with fear. With the flight or fight response, my reaction tends to be fight. So, don't make me jump or I could punch you in the throat. Question 14. Have you ever played Bloody Mary? No. That's a very American thing. I never actually heard of it until I got to my second year in TAFE and one of the girls mentioned it. Question 15. Do you believe in demons / the devil? Well, the devil is a creation of the medieval church in order to keep peasants in line, along with everyone else, because the church was a major power. As for demons, I find reading about them interesting, especially given if you're using the Latin term daemon to just mean a spirit. I find that sort of thing very interesting. Whether I believe in it is again, I read about it with the being open to the possibility, but again, I don't really believe in it. Question 16. You're home alone, but hear footsteps in your house. What do you do? Well, firstly I look for the cat, because being rather large and he's got a sticky claw that tends to make a tapping noise. Other than that, immediately source a weapon, because there's a few in the house. I do medieval fighting, so. But, yeah, again, it's prepare for a fight straight off and identify what is going on. Question 17. If you got trapped in one scary movie, which would you choose? Well, any of the Exorcist ones are out straight away, because I'm not dealing with that. Anything like Being Human, I'm liable to get eaten. So I would say something like Blair Witch or anything like that. Anything to do with witchcraft specifically more than possession, I'll probably be okay with. I've been reading about it since I was a very small child and have a pretty good idea of what I'm doing. So we'll go with that one. Also, with the standard serial killers coming to get you thing, I'm very good at making booby traps. Question 18. If you could only wear one Halloween costume for the rest of your life, what would you be? Well, a vampire would play into most of my wardrobe, especially because you have the option of either being a modern one or an archaic one, either of which I could do. Of course, you could go for Wednesday Addams' answer of a homicidal maniac, because they look just like everyone else. That's a bit of a cop-out, but... 19. Would you ever go to a graveyard at night? Certainly. You have nothing to fear from the dead. It's the living you gotta watch out for. Question 20. In a zombie apocalypse, what is your weapon of choice? Probably one of the hand-and-a-half bastard swords, because they will mess up a zombie very quickly. However, if it's a combination you're looking for, I would go for sword and shield or axe and shield, and if the possibility of armour to be worn, I'd certainly go for chainmail. Cover as much of your body, you can't get bit. So gorget is not an option, you must. Question 21. Would you rather go to a Halloween party or go trick-or-treating? I would rather go to a Halloween party than trick-or-treating, because although it would be fun to collect lollies, I don't eat that many lollies, so I'd end up handing away most of my haul anyway. So definitely a Halloween party. Besides, it doesn't specify what sort of Halloween party it is. Question 22. You're in a horror movie. Are you the final girl, the first to die, the comic relief, the skeptic, the smart one, or the killer? Depending on the situation, I could either be the final girl, or boy, the skeptic, the smart one, or even the killer. Potentially in a similar way to You're Next. If you ever see that movie for sale and you haven't got it, buy it. It's worth it. Oh, pardon me. So definitely the skeptic or the smart one. The skeptic, if it was supernatural, but then would be the one that turns around and actually knows, like Egon or Venkman in Ghostbusters. They know their shit and they know how to deal with it. And much like them, I've got a small library of books on the supernatural to reference. Question 23. Do you have to watch something happy after watching a horror movie so you can go to sleep? Generally not, although there are a couple of movies that really fucked me up. One of them being The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Just the premise, the way it was presented, where is she, isn't she, it could be either way, got into my head. Another one, When the Lights Go Out, was a good one. And they're really the only ones now. Anyway, when I was younger, there were a few. Question 23. No, just did that one. Question 24. Whilst watching scary movies, are you the person who yells at the characters, the person with their eyes covered the whole time, or the person who falls asleep? I am definitely the person who yells at characters. Why are you walking off to go to the showers by yourself? Don't have sex, you're about to die. Why would you open that door? There's clearly something behind it. Why haven't you grabbed a weapon? Why did you grab a gun? It needs to be loaded and... Yeah. Yeah. When in doubt, go for a blade though. They don't need reloading. And if you know what you're doing, generally in close confines that horror movies tend to be presented, it's going to be more useful. Question 25. Are you the one who gets scared or the one who does the scaring? Generally the one who does the scaring. Question 26. Favorite scary book? I haven't really. Well, anything by Edgar Allan Poe or H.P. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft is one of those ones where reading it you're fine. It's when you go to bed, switch the lights off, that it all starts to creep. Especially the one about ghouls. That was a very good story. So yeah, H.P. Lovecraft or Edgar Allan Poe, definitely. And Stephen King as well. Question 27. How old were you when you saw your first horror movie? Depends what you classify as a horror movie. I grew up watching Young Frankenstein, but I don't think that really counts. Ghost in the Darkness could arguably be called a horror movie. Probably about 12 or 13, I'd say. Thereabouts. 28. What was your first Halloween costume? See, we didn't get to do trick-or-treating when we were younger, because it's not really a done thing in country Australia. It is sort of now. It's starting to pick up a bit, which is really cool. So my first Halloween costume, I think I was a vampire. Yes, I was Dracula from Francis Ford Coppola Dracula, except I looked more like Jack the Ripper. But there you go. Question 29. What are you going to be for Halloween this year? This year I'm probably going to a Dias de los Muertos. Sorry, I just massacred that pronunciation. A Day of the Dead party. So probably that. And question 30. If you could have a spooky Halloween pet, black cat, owl, bat, rat, wolf, etc., what would you pick? Well, out of all of those, the black cat or the owl are really the only sensible sort of choices. Well, rats are not unsensible, but not really me. They make me think too much of Scaven. So I'd probably say the black cat, just because the owl would be considerably harder to keep. And bats you really shouldn't keep in captivity, they don't live very long. Same as ravens. And wolves aren't pets. Wolves are wild creatures, so yes. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see some more of my videos, there's links in the description below. Hitting the like button would be most appreciated, but not necessary. And if you want to be told when I make more videos, then feel free to hit the subscribe button. I also have links to my Twitter and Tumblr in the description below. And if you like, answer some of the questions I've answered. What was your first Halloween costume? What's your favourite scary movie, etc.? What sort of supernatural things have you seen? If you like. Anyway, thank you so much for watching.